What's up guys, it's Spiderwolf back for another Umamusume video. So today we're going to go over should you summon for Gold City and brand support card banner. Well, not really new, it's just more so a couple rerun support cards, but you know, not that great. Oh, they're okay. Before we get started though, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could drop me a like, comment, subscribe. Would really help me out trying to get to a thousand subscribers before another year. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So got Gold City here, brand new Uma. Let's go ahead and take a look at her. So for her stats, she has 89 speed, 92 stamina, 94 power, 92 guts, and 83 wit. She has A ranking for turf tracks, D for dirt, so she's pretty shit for dirt, but really good for turf tracks. Distances, F for sprint, A for mile, B for medium, B for long. So basically she's really good at miles, can work in mediums, can work in longs, and she's horrible in sprints. For her styles, she's F for front, A for pace, A for late, and F for end. So she's really good literally being in the middle of being either pace chaser or late runner or whatever. But if you're going to run her in the end or the front, it's not really going to work out for you. For her growth rate, she has 10% for power and then 20% for guts, so not too bad, but guts is kind of whatever, especially since it's 20%. Now her unique skill here, keep it real. Moderately increase acceleration steadily with a wing when starting to make a move from the mid pack or from mid pack in the second half of the race. So basically she gets like an extra speed boost when she's in the middle, and then she's gonna like start moving more towards the front. So a bit of like a late chaser kind of thing, but you know, it still works as a pace chaser regardless, so not too bad. Now here's her ascension skills here. So you know, if you send her up, these are basically where you're gonna unlock. So you have Slipstream and 160 skill points. Slightly decreases wind resistance when following directly behind other runners. So basically just something that I'm assuming would help her like not lose speed basically. And then we have Kinai at 160, decreases fatigue when positioned toward the back early race for mile races. So this will work really well if you're putting her as a late runner. We have acceleration at 160 skill points, slightly increased acceleration when passing another runner mid race for mile and mile races. So works really well for pace chaser and late runner. And finally, we got On Your Left at 180 skill points, increases acceleration late race for late surgers. So kind of looks like, so for most of this is kind of implying that they kind of want her to be more focused towards being a late racer or a late surger, but you can still make it work as a pace chaser if you really want to. But a lot of these things are kind of leaning more towards her being a late surger. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what exactly she does. You know, a little bit more details, right? A little bit more details. So went over these are her innate skills. She has moderately increased performance in the Hanshin race courses. We already went over the fact she has Watchful Eye, which is called Keen Eye here, which is the same thing. And then Slick Surge, which is let's see, a slight increase in acceleration for late race. That's going to be on your left. So very similar stuff here, but these are basically what she's going to have innate as you know, off the bat. And then here's going to be her skills will be one over for awakening her, and then these are going to be her evolved skills. So whenever you trigger whatever this event is from a training event, or you have at least 600 guts, and if you get at least 3 speed type skills, Keen Eye, which decreases fatigue when positioned towards the back early race for mile races, can transform into Prescience, and then for any mile race during the second half of the opening race. If you're in the second half of the pack, you will drain some speed from enemies ahead of you or other Umas in front of you, and your stamina will recover. So it's not too bad, basically making it to where any Umas in front of you get less stamina while you recover your own. So that actually doesn't sound half bad. This next one here, On Your Left, which on your left basically increases acceleration for late race. This basically you have to trigger another event from training 1 time, or you have to win at least G1 any G1 race 2 times, and you have to get at least 2 skills for late aptitude. And this can transform into Star of Runaway, which basically if you're between, so like in the middle I think, during the first half of the final part of the race. If you're not in the front, your acceleration and point of view or field of view will increase. So you get a speed boost, and your Uma will be able to have a better view, so they'll be able to move, you know, to hopefully a better like direction, right, or different area. That's hopefully more useful. And then another alternative version is if you have at least 150,000 fans, or you get at least 2 acceleration type skills, and you have at least 800 power, you can transform into the final forefront. This one's also between her. During the first half of the final part of the race, if you're not in the front, your acceleration will increase. Then when there's 200 meters remaining in the race, your speed will slightly increase also. So basically you're getting an acceleration boost and a velocity boost if there's 200 meters remaining in the last part of the race. So not too bad either. Definitely, I do think Star of the Runway is a bit better in my opinion, but this to the finals forefront doesn't sound that bad either. We also have, yeah, we already went over our Neon Spirit, and then here's going to be her races. So we got, you know, the usual make debut. Then we have place 5th or better in the Hanshin Juvenile Phillies. Then we have place 5th or better in the Satsuki Show. Then we have place 5th or better in the Tokyo Yushin Japanese Derby. Then place 3rd or better in the Kiko Show. Then place 3rd or better in the Army Kennen. Then place 3rd or better in the Osaka High. Then place 3rd or better in the Tenno Show Spring. Then place 3rd or better in the Tarazuka Kinen, and finally place 1st in the Japan Cup. So a lot of these are basically like you start out with 5th place, and then everything else is basically 3rd place until the very end when you want to get 1st place. So really interesting. Does make it potentially a bit more difficult if you want to try to go for the no skill run strap, which can be kind of fun sometimes, where you basically just don't buy any skills and you just wait till the very end until you finish all your races, then you buy your skills, since you have the most amount of discounts you could possibly have gotten. So that might be a bit more difficult with this Uma, since you do have to get 3rd or higher, which can be somewhat difficult, but yeah, not too bad with that. So if any of these races, you know, like usual, interest you, there you go. Overall, I do think the Uma herself does look very nice, you know, visually, right? But let's look a little bit more details as a, you know, if like, you know, a bit more as to if she's worth it or not, right? Because that's what we're here for. So as usual, the 1 means garbage, or if you would just really like the character but they're really not that good, and then 5 means they're meta. So let's go over to where she's at. So Gold City. So she is given a 4 for being a late runner, so that means she's pretty good for late running. She has a 5 for team trials, so she's really good in team trials. As a parent, she's 2, so she's not really a good parent. And then it mentions speed debuffer, negative or minus 0.2. Not too sure what that means. Might be because of one of her skills. So, but yeah. Also, looks like as a regular Uma, for if you're trying to get like a good Uma for like rate, to be like a late position, she's pretty good for that. But she's not really a good parent. But let's take a look at this little description here. So, Gold City is a gambling Uma, similar to Current-chan. If she starts trying to overtake someone late in the middle of the race, her unique will trigger and let her carry acceleration into the spurt. You'll want to pair her with skills that trigger around here, which vary based on the track. She can further gamble her built-in Switch Up Pro. Her gold heal later becomes a speed debuff, but if you want a mild speed debuff, you'll usually just use Grass Wonder and get that gold heal from the Gold City card. Also note that every race you do after the Tenno Show Spring or on Gold City will give you all stack and extra SP. That's interesting. And this can let you get much higher SP counts, allowing you to buy a ton of skills for team trials. So I think what they're basically saying is that, like, after, let's see, the note that every race you do after Tenno Show. So basically I think what they're saying is that once you make it to Tenno Show Spring and you just do like full-on races, like if we go back, right, for her races. So if we go back to Tenno Show Spring, which is literally like, you know, you still have 2 more races to get to. And then it looks like you have about a couple turns here. Then it's going to be pretty good, because then you can basically just spam races at this point, and then you're going to get stats for everything plus SP as well, which is going to be pretty handy. So this sounds like that's going to be the main route you're going to be running for Gold City. Basically, you know, you do your training or whatever, but once you make it to Tenno Show Spring and you pass that, then you probably just want to do only races at that point, from what it looks like, since you're just getting like literally everything. So that's pretty cool. But overall, definitely she is a pretty good Uma. She's definitely rated quite high for what she can do, but she's definitely not something like an Uma you would want to go out of your way for, unless you really like her, right? But she definitely does have really good viability here for team trials and for being just a late runner, so that's pretty cool. And then looking at tier list real quickly here, just because if you guys are curious, like, oh, how good are these like support cards, and if they're worth it at all. If you go to power here, Vodka is currently the best, or one, yeah, it's technically the best. Technically second would be Elcon or Pasa, but it is the best current power strength support card in the game at the moment. So it is kind of good, but at the same time, I don't think this banner is worth throwing that many carrots into, just because even though it is a good card, I think there's going to be much better stuff coming out later on. Not to mention, we literally have Summer Marzensky coming up very, very soon, so Definitely want to say about your character for her because she's going to be really, really good. And we have Nishino Flower, which, I mean, you know, Nishino Flower isn't really that crazy to be honest. It's at max dupes, it's B tier, 3 dupes is C tier, and the 0 dupes is E tier, you know, so it's just like not really that great. You know, you definitely could have better options. I don't know why it was so hard for me to say. But yeah, you know, overall, I'd say Gold City, if you do want to summon her, not a bad idea. She's a pretty good Uma. But I would say since we have much more big hitting Umas coming out, like literally like within the next week or two, plus another really one over the Christmas Upgrade cap coming up very, very soon as well, I would say it's probably smarter to save for them. If you're looking for meta reasons, right? But like if you like Gold City, go for her. She's actually pretty good for the most part, just not really good as a parent. Support card banner you can completely skip. Yeah, Vodka is a good card, but you don't really need it in my opinion right now. And you can probably skip it over time, to be honest. But yeah, with that being said, hope this video helps you guys out. And with that being said, I'm gonna see you later. Delivery pulls. Peace and take care, everybody.